You are now tuned into the We Are Gunsmith podcast, the world's #1 podcast. Or at least they think so. Sit back. It's gonna be lit beyond comprehension.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the We Are Gunsmith podcast. You guys already know who I am. It's James Mooney. Today, we're back. We're back from the hiatus. We took like a summer hiatus, trying to get a little bit more consistent with the podcast, stockpiling some episodes a week in advance so that there doesn't have to be a drop-off where there's a week where we're not doing a podcast or you're not hearing from us. So before we get too far into it, though, if you guys could do me a favor, go on iTunes or Spotify or SoundCloud, wherever you are at, leave a 5-star review. It helps grow the podcast. It helps the podcast pop up on lists, like podcasts you may like, check this out kind of thing. It really helps the podcast grow, and that's the goal, right? Also, I'd like each and every one of you guys that's listening right now to do me a favor and go tell one friend to check out the podcast. That is your homework. Tell one friend. Everyone has at least one friend, you know. If you don't have one friend, I apologize. You can add me on Instagram. We can become friends that way. I will be your one friend. But yeah, tell a friend. Tell them to check out the podcast. Tell them we're awesome. Tell them Gunsmith is sick, and they need to check it out if they want to be cool, because all the cool kids are doing it. Anyway, today's episode, we're actually joined by a friend of mine. His name's Bryan Kattenburg. We went to high school together a long-ass time ago, longer than I care to remember. We were teammates in high school football together, kind of went our separate ways after high school, both of us doing super successful things, and actually get a chance to catch up with him. He's been on a luxury yacht for the last 8 years. He's been working as a crew member on various luxury yachts, traveling the world, living the dream, hanging out on boats and doing cool things in the water. Talk to him today, and we kind of talk about some cool things. We talk about, you know, how he got into luxury yachting, because that's a whole topic on its own. Like, how do you even start working on a luxury $1 million yacht? So we talk about that, kind of like the ups and downs of working on a yacht, the pluses and the minuses, you know. And we also talk about the show he was on. So he was actually on a reality TV show called Below Deck Mediterranean. It's on Bravo TV. He was on a season of that, and we get into that a little bit. We talk about the ups and downs, the dark side of reality TV, how it's all kind of scripted. Maybe he wasn't portrayed in the best light at all times. So I think there's some good gems in here. I think it's some interesting topics, and I hope you guys like it. So without further ado, this is Bryan Kattenburg. We are joined by my boy, Bryan Kattenburg. What's going on, Bryan?
Hey, what's going on, Mooney?
Good to have you on. Good to have you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, glad we could finally do this.
Yeah, and not only that, we go way back, man.
Oh, yeah. Way back. For the listeners, Bryan and I actually went to high school together way back in the day, back in Walnut Creek, California.
Yeah, man. It's one of the coolest cities in the East Bay.
Surprisingly, a lot of people know where Walnut Creek is. Like, I'll be like traveling and I'll be like, oh, I live in Walnut Creek. They're like, oh, I know where that's at. It's getting big, man.
Oh, definitely. Think about how much it's changed in the last decade or so.
Oh, man. It's incredible.
You know, it's like the northern Beverly Hills now.
Dude, it's insane. I don't even think I could afford to live there now. Like, if I moved back.
Oh, definitely not.
No. But, yeah, Bryan was a fucking stud running back on a football team back in the day.
Yeah, well, the glory days, huh?
The Great White Hope.
God, it's crazy to think about it back then, you know, how I think things have changed even from then to now. I mean, the running backs now are freaking huge. They're beasts. They're like your size.
Yeah, I mean, there are some fucking massive dudes now. You were pretty big, though, back in the day.
I just think I was all right. I mean, I think the roster said I was 6 foot 185, but I was really just 6 foot 175. But
that's all right.
I think I just was fast. I was just fast, and I just ran into people.
That's all you need.
Really
to do.
Hard.
Just run people over. Oh man.
But
if you were
good times.
If you were back then, could you imagine where you're at right now? Like,
definitely not.
Is this where you thought you would be? Because that was what?
Absolutely
that was
not.
like 12 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah.
13 years ago?
See. We graduated 2005, so
about 13 years ago.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
13 years ago.
So 18-year-old Bryan, would you have imagined that you would is this kind of where you pictured yourself 13 years down the road?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not even close. I couldn't have even fathomed this.
Like when I think of like where I was at, that long ago, and where I'm at right now, this was never even like an option. Like, I don't know, if you talk to 18-year-old James, I'd be playing in like the NFL or like, I don't know, living in California somewhere. But it'd never be, I never imagined myself opening a business or having my own gym or eventually having my own supplement line. I wouldn't imagine that. Like, it's crazy how time changes things.
Yeah, it's great though. And we're so both fortunate, that you've gone one great successful way, and I feel very fortunate and grateful for, what life's given me throughout these years. And I've been able to travel so much, which has been great.
Right.
And
working on the yachts.
That's kind of working on the yachts. Yeah, mostly has been the reason why I've been traveling so much. So yeah, I've been really, really grateful and really happy the way things have turned out.
How did you get into that whole thing, the working on yachts? Like, because that's kind of like I don't know. When you ask somebody what they do for a living, that's not one that pops up very often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely not. Everyone's got a million questions after you tell them what you do when you work in this industry. So after Las Lomas High School, I went to Arizona State, graduated there with a kinesiology major and business major. And I thought I was going to be like a physical therapist, or at least someone who ran physical therapy clinics.
Right.
But that didn't really turn out because I ended up working as an enrollment advisor for an online university called Walden University. So here I am in a sea of cubicles. I'm the youngest one out of like 325 cubicles in Tempe, Arizona. And I'm quickly realizing this is not where I want to be. I really hated the cubicle lifestyle. I didn't have anything in common with any of my older coworkers. Yeah. And I was just, hoping that something would happen. I knew something was going to have to happen.
Yeah.
So I was looking at being a firefighter. No, I just have way too much physical energy to sit around in a chair all day calling people who really don't want to be called, Fair
enough.
And it was nasty too. We'd have our managers listening in on us. They talk to us about our talk time. We have to make X amount of calls a day. It was just a nightmare. So I was really kind of hating life at that point. At this point, I was 23. And my good friend, Garrett Brill, who was a fraternity brother of mine at Arizona State, I asked him if he wanted to go play basketball after work because I had all this energy. And he said, no, I'm too tired. But listen, I have my father. He's a captain of a yacht. He just told me he was getting rid of his deckhand. He's going to need a new one. Would you be interested? I said, well, what do I got to do? He goes, I don't really know. I'm sure you got to clean a boat, drive a tender. I don't really know, but I can get you more information if you're interested. I was like, well, where's the job at? He said, it's in St. Martin, which is in the Caribbean. I was like, oh, hell yes.
Yes.
I will
That's
do
all you need to
whatever
say
it takes
right
to get me out of. So here I am. Pulling up to this yacht on a tender in St. Martin. It was beautiful. I still remember. I still have the image in my head today. The boat was at anchor, so just floating out there by the shore in this beautiful, clear water. And pulled up to it, and that was my new home.
How big of a yacht was
everything
this?
from there was it was 130 feet.
Holy shit!
And it was called the Pearl Blue.
Right on. And
it was amazing. I was so grateful to be there. And it was funny because his dad actually ended up being he was a hard ass,
Yeah. Kind of a dick.
And so I had to work. Yeah, he was a dick. He just expected a lot. And that's something that's common with captains is, they have a lot of responsibility and it can be a stressful job. So, when the crews don't operate in exactly the way they want, their patience can be really short. And this guy's patience was really short. But I'm still grateful that he gave me an opportunity and he set me on a path that I'm still on today. And I'm so grateful for that. His name is Captain Brill. Captain Gianni Brill.
Shout out to Captain Gianni Brill. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
shout out to Captain Gianni Brill. Yeah.
How long were you on his boat for?
So I was on that boat for 12 months.
Okay. And what did that look like? You're
actually,
like clean decks and stuff, or what was your routine
so
like there?
So my role is the deckhand job, and the deckhand is basically the guy who cleans the boat, but he's the bottom tier guy.
Okay.
Now on this boat it had seven crew. So you have your captain, and then under the captain you have the first officer, and then the engineer. They're about the same level. The engineer strictly looks after all the mechanics and all the systems on board, like the air conditioning, obviously the engines themselves, basically everything that makes the boat run.
Okay.
And then there was me, the deckhand, and then there's the interior team that involves the chief stewardess, and then a second stewardess on this boat, and the chef.
Okay.
So it's a crew of 7, and it's a nice sized boat and a nice sized crew. It's not too big. These yachts can go up to 25 crew.
Holy shit!
Or they can be 4 crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on the size.
And so you guys are like the yacht's getting like rented out, and you guys are like taking people on like excursions or something, or
yeah. So
chilling?
How it works is there's usually an owner. It depends whether it's private or charter.
Okay.
So if it's private, it will just be the owners that use it primarily or exclusively. And they'll come on. You'll be really familiar with them. The owners have all the photos of them all around the boats. It's a lot more personable on a family level. Or they'll charter it, which the owners will still use from time to time, but a lot of time they're more interested in getting some money back.
Yeah.
And so then, you'll have random people come on. They'll party for a week or 2, and then they'll leave. Now, a lot of crew like being on charter boats. It's a lot more work because it's more intensive. Every day the guests want to move the boat to another destination. They want to ride the jet skis. They want you to blow up the slide. They want you to get out the sea bob. It's just a lot more work. Every night's a big extravagant dinner. The stews have to set up these amazing dinner settings. And the chefs have to work their asses off cooking for the crew and for the guests. But you do get a tip from the charter boats. Yeah. So on top of your salary, you'll get a big tip, usually around $1,000 plus or minus, depending on the size of the boat and, how generous they are.
Damn.
So for a week, you can get it, and it can be way more than that. I think the biggest tip I ever got for a week was an extra $3,200.
Holy shit. For just a week's worth of work, huh?
Yeah. Just a week worth of work. Yeah, that's right.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah, that's why everyone wants to be on a charter boat. Yeah.
So, damn. But it probably gets stressful, though, because you're like working, I don't know. I'm sure there's some high stress people that are just, super demanding and making it not fun, but I guess.
Definitely. Well, you know what it is? I think the stewardesses and the interior team, they get told what to do all the time, right? Like, oh, I want this coffee, I want this food, or I want this type. They're being told by the guests how they want it. Now, when the guests come out and deal with the deck crew, we're the ones that kind of tell them, okay, now you can get on the jet ski. Now you have to, stay within this range. You have a little. They kind of have to listen to us because we're, and we're looking after their safety off the boat. So it's great for people who want to get involved in this industry that love being around the water and love water sports and love to teach people, how to snorkel, how to equalize, how to ride a jet ski, how to jump a wake on a jet ski, even how to go wakeboarding. So you get a lot of opportunities to kind of, teach and play while you're working and getting paid for it.
So it's the complete opposite of that cubicle job that you were in. Just
complete opposite. Could not be more different. And it just, God, I could never do a cubicle job again. Not even close. Yeah. I don't know how people do it.
No, it's the idea of just sitting at a desk for 8 hours, just not even staring out the window. You're staring at somebody else's cubicle. Like, fuck that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, not good. Now, the one cool thing that you do get with that is you get to go home at night.
Yeah.
You get to have your own space at the end of the day and get away from your coworkers. On a yacht, you live on the boat. You have your own bunk, but you don't have your own room. Right. So you have a roommate You have a crew mess where everyone kind of hangs out in and watches TV, and you eat all your meals together, mostly your lunch and dinner. So you can't really get away, which can be extremely stressful at times too. Because if you're arguing or don't get along with one of your crewmates, and then you got to deal with this person and listen to him eat, it'll drive you nuts.
There's a lot of drama potential there.
There's a lot of drama. There's a ton of drama, and on every boat there's drama because people work. In one thing, you're working really hard, and you're tired. And then you're working with people doing the same kind of, stewardesses work together, deck crew work together. And if someone's work ethic isn't as matching yours, you got
to pick up
tension's going to build up, Yeah, exactly. So, over the years, I was started off as a deckhand, like I said. I went to bosun, and now I'm at first officer on the big boats. So I'm kind of in charge of now. The deck crew.
Right on.
Definitely. So I always, try to keep everyone cool, calm, collective, and, speaking their mind. Because the worst thing that you don't want to happen is people just being passive aggressive, holding it in and just slowly boiling up to where they eventually will just explode and make it, extremely dramatic. And we don't want that. So I always try to emphasize to my deck crew, if you have an issue, talk to me about it. If you have an issue with someone else, talk to me about it. The whole crew, really.
Right. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like, and it applies to, more than just like working on the boat. It's like people hold in a lot of stuff and they get scared of saying like what's on their mind because people are so easily offended nowadays. And it's like, you got to get that out because you hold it in and then eventually that becomes worse. And then you'll say something that you truly don't really mean and it'll just sound way worse. Exactly. And I think that carries over to basically every industry and every workplace, So, but it's just a lot more intensified when you're with these people 24/7 for months on end. So how does that work? So for that first 12 months, like you're working every day or do you get like a week off or something or like?
There's a lot. There's a lot of variables to it. So when there's no owners or guests on board, we work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, weekends off. But we do get weekends off, but you do have to do watches. So the crew rotates, excluding the captain, to do a watch where you have to stay on board. You're the person who's responsible to wake up and unlock all the doors, turn off the lights, raise the flag. Okay. Check all the rooms, make sure there's no bilge alarms, no water's leaking through, no weird smells or sounds. And then you're on watch for that whole entire 24-hour period. So you're on watch the whole day. You can't leave the boat. At the end of the day, you have to take down the flag, turn on the lights, lock the doors, and you have to, be up and present around in the crew mess until usually 10 o'clock at night. And then you can go to bed. Okay. So if you're not on watch during the weekend, you have the weekend off or, the afternoon off.
Right on. That's kind of nice because you're out in these nice places. You get to explore a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of crew like to go out and run after work. For me, I always try to find a local basketball court and try to meet some locals and just enjoy wherever you're at. Yeah. Some places they don't have those things, but we've been on islands where we're out at anchor and to get to shore, you have to take the tender in and it starts becoming a mission.
Yeah.
But as long as you have some friends that are crewmates, then you can have a really good time going out wakeboarding at the end of the day, or going snorkeling, or jumping off the boat, going for a swim, or whatever water sport you can do. That's one of the cool things is that you can use the vessel's toys like the jet skis or the tenders. Yeah. Not all boats are like that, but most of them allow the crew to enjoy them.
It's like a 24/7 vacation almost.
Yeah, but I mean, there are times where you're like, what the hell am I doing with my life? I'm kind of coming to that point. I've been doing this now for 8 years. Yeah, and I got more to offer this world, and I got more talent than just scrubbing a boat and managing other deck crew and.
Yeah, you want to own the boat.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. So, that's just, I think everyone always kind of questions. I think everyone's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
You know, you should always be thinking, where can I take this next? You know, what can I do next with my life? What can I do next?
Yeah, you can never
Because I don't want to be yeah, exactly. And I don't want to be a salty captain being 40 years old, because a lot of captains, they start as deckhands, they become captains, and then they find someone who they want to marry. Great. And then they want to have kids, but now their kids are growing up and they're nowhere near them. You know, they can only see them once or twice, get a couple of breaks once or twice a year for a week or two at a time. And that sucks. So that's where a lot of yacht crew have issues, is they come to a point where they really want to live their own lives, and their job requires them to be really far away from their own lives. And that's tough.
Yeah, it's kind of like a nomadic lifestyle. You don't really have
Definitely.
roots anywhere. You're just kind of going with the flow a little bit. So I could see where the lack of structure kind of plays a role in like
definitely a lot. Right. Well, this is a great industry to save money. So a lot of people will save money for a couple of years and then, buy a house almost straight up, and then they'll have a house that they either rent out or, will come back to.
So is that your plan? You got an exit strategy?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm renting right now a really cool place in Fort Lauderdale by the beach. And when I leave, I always try to line up one of my friends or fellow crewmates to rent out my place.
Right on.
So sublease it, essentially.
So
but yes, I definitely want to invest in property. My problem is that I love bouncing around.
Yeah, because you've been doing that for the last 8 years. You're bouncing around.
Yeah, and I love that. I was in Italy last month. I'm in New York this month. There's a job I might take in Hawaii for the winter. So, and I love that, and that always keeps life interesting. But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking, well, do I want to get a place in one of these cool places and kind of hunker down? But I don't know. Also, the places I really like are really expensive, like New York and Miami.
That's always the issue. The money always plays a role in that. What about some of these like foreign countries that you've been living in? Would you ever consider moving to one of those places, or?
Yeah, I would. I don't know. I go back and forth. Like, I was really thinking about investing in a property in Nicaragua.
Okay.
You remember Ryan Spiegel, right?
Yeah.
Our old buddy.
Yeah.
He, he owned his own hostel down there and had property down there, and he was building and everything. And now Nicaragua is like going through real tough times.
Yeah,
they're about to overthrow the governments.
Maybe not the best location to be.
Yeah, so now I'm looking away from Nicaragua, but that was definitely something I was considering. Ooh. But like a lot of the other islands too they're nice, but it's just, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a spoiled American, but I do like living in American cities. They have the things I really like, between sports,
people that speak
all
English.
The amenities of really, people that speak English. The foods that come in all kinds of varieties.
Yeah, we do have it pretty good here.
It's great. It's great here. And the older I get, the more and more I realize how awesome America is.
Well, I'm sure you've seen plenty of the good and bad of every place. It comes,
for sure.
Comes with the travel. Where's the craziest place that you've worked on a yacht? Like, where's the best place that you've worked on a yacht?
Whew, that's tough. Jamaica was pretty wild.
Oh shit.
That was pretty crazy. We were in Kingston, Jamaica, and that was interesting. It was really dodgy.
Yeah.
I've never been like whistled at and called white boy so many times, but it was interesting. We met some cool people there that I'll never forget. That was probably one spot that was pretty sketch. We were in Montenegro, was probably the most beautiful on the Mediterranean side in the Adriatic Sea.
Okay.
Where we would anchor out, back down onto shore, and then tie a line from our stern to the shore.
Yeah.
And the water's so clear there. At night, we turn on our underwater lights, and it's just like an underwater aquarium pool that you could see straight down 20 feet, every single rock, just so clear. That was pretty amazing too.
That sounds beautiful.
But I love going to Italy. I love going to Spain. Palma de Mallorca is amazing. Yeah, I mean, Capri was amazing. I don't know. There's a lot of amazing places. Even St. Martin, where I started my journey, is unreal and a total party place. Unfortunately, the hurricane Irma totally destroyed St. Martin.
You weren't.
I was there.
Were you out there for that?
No, I was not.
Oh,
I was
lucky you.
able to. I was able to get out of there. I even evacuated Florida, where I live. But I was there earlier this year, the beginning of this year, and there's still sailboats, all like the sides of the street that have been blown, thousands of feet from where they were in the water in the marinas. I mean, it's still a disaster zone down there.
It's a good thing you weren't there for that. That was a rough situation.
Yeah, it really was. And they thought it was going to really screw up Fort Lauderdale. I was able to get out of there. I went to Vegas, and I remember we were one of the last planes out of Fort Lauderdale, and everyone on the plane, the flight attendant got on. She said, "All right, everyone, say goodbye to Hurricane Irma," and everyone was clapping as we were taking off. It was kind of like, wow, like this is real.
Kind of
yeah,
surreal.
Totally.
So how'd you get hooked up with the whole Bravo show? How'd that come about?
Yeah. So like even when you're looking for any job, there's going to be crew agents, right? Yeah. Or websites that you can see what kind of jobs are out there, or what positions they're looking for. And I looked on this website frequently while I was looking for work called daywork123.com. And there was, a casting call said for Below Deck Mediterranean. For the first season of the Mediterranean is casting now. So I sent my CV, and the casting agent called me, and we had about a 2-minute Skype recorded video conversation, and that was it. They said, "Okay, great, we'll get back to you." So about a month and a half went by. I didn't think anything was going to come of it. They called me and said, "All right, would I be available for another conversation, in a week or so?" Someone was going to call me. And I said, "Yeah, okay, wow, I'm still in the running, I guess. Cool." So no one ever called me really, but the same casting agent called me and said, "Okay, well, they want to go with you." I said, "All right, great." So they offered me a number, and I said, "Well, I don't really want to do it for that. I think, double that number." And then I think we got a deal. So they, without hesitation, got right back to me and said, "Okay, you got it."
Shit.
So yeah.
They must have really wanted you then.
Yeah, I guess so. And they said that was going to be the first officer, which at that point in time, I was captaining boats. I was doing day charters in Miami, captaining 60 to 70-foot vessels around Miami.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, all right, well, I don't want to go on the show and be a bosun.
Oh, you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to be the scrub guy.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to undermine my own abilities, and right. I thought I was like promoting myself really. So I said, all right, well, I'll do it if I'm the first officer. And they go, okay, great, no problem. So they said, all right, we're going to send you the contract. They sent me the contract the day before I flew out. That's how they signed up everyone late. You'd think Hollywood and all these producers would be on top of it months in advance, but no, it's all very last minute, all by the whim. Even when they're putting the show together, they would have late interviews.
Oh, wow.
To have us do voiceovers over the phone. But anyway, so I signed the contract, and they flew me out to Greece, flew to Athens, and then took a ferry to Naxos, which is where the boat was going to be, basically based out of, stationed out of. They put me in a hotel, and I wasn't to leave my hotel. I was supposed to be there for 3 days, and I wasn't allowed to leave my hotel. And this beautiful ocean line in front of me, out looking out my balcony. The reason why they don't want anyone to leave their apartment, their hotel, is because they don't want you running into the cast, your fellow, crewmates that you're going to be working with.
They don't want you to know them beforehand.
Exactly. They don't want you building relationships off camera.
Okay.
So they go to, big lengths to keep us like prisoners. Someone would bring us food. And I was like, look, I can't be inside all day in Greece.
You're going to go crazy?
I'd go crazy. I'm like, look, I gotta go for runs in the morning, runs in the afternoon. I gotta go swimming in the ocean. I gotta go to the pool. So they gave me a lot of leeway because I think I was in a hotel where none of the other castmates were. So I was allowed to go to the pool. And if I wanted to go for a run, someone had to run with me. someone had to come to the beach with me. It was like I had a bodyguard / I was a prisoner. More so I was like a prisoner.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that you would?
Yeah.
Like they would care that much that you might run into somebody, because you didn't know who was on the cast with you, right? Like,
no, I had no idea. Had no idea. So, but a lot of the other cast members met each other because they went on Tinder, and they were like, "Oh, this person's from America, and they're a mile away."
Yeah.
So they started. Some cast members started chatting with each other.
Oh man.
So they beat the system. It was easy for them, but I didn't care. I wanted to play ball with the production.
Yeah.
And that was just the beginning, working with them.
Well, how was that whole experience then? Like, I mean, that's kind of like a weird scenario to be put into. Now you got cameras on you 24/7.
Yeah, it was really crazy. They took me to the boat before filming started because they thought I might be surprised and I might start saying negative stuff, which I would have if they hadn't already told me, because the boat was in real bad shape.
Really?
On the show, they make it look nice, but this boat was just super neglected. There's paint chipping off everywhere. There's rust stains everywhere.
Really?
It was a real piece of shit boat. It really was.
Were they making you guys clean it up beforehand, or did they just kind of?
No. They were like, "Look, Bryan, we want you to see the boat because, we don't want you to be too surprised when you come on and have everything that comes out of your mouth." Because they knew I was really professional, and I come from all these yachts that are, look really good, and we work really hard to make sure they're about perfect. So anyway, I went and got to see the boat before. And then the day when we all get on the show, that's when the miking started happening, where they mic us up.
Yeah.
So we have to wear like this really itchy, foamy waistband that goes just under our chests, around our ribs, and is really tight. That holds like a 1 pound, 2 pound little microphone like housing. And then we have the microphone come around us and underneath our shirts. So one of us we get mic'd up, and then we go on the boat, and then we start meeting people. And my first two interactions my first interaction was with Chef Ben and Hannah, who's currently on the show now. Hannah Ferrier and Ben Robinson. And I come on the boat, all the cameras are on me, and I go, "Ben, I didn't know you were going to be here. This is awesome. So nice to meet you." And the producers run down from the control room, and they go, No. You can't know that this show has existed prior. You take it back, go back,
redo.
Pretend like you don't know Ben. So that was one of the first of hundreds of retakes we'd have to do.
Really?
So, oh yeah, dude, this show is it's so produced and edited, I can't even tell you. So here I am again. Okay, walking in. "Hi, I'm Bryan. Ben, oh, nice to meet you. Hi, Hannah, nice to meet you. Da 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 da." So then the second interaction I have is with the captain. I come up, I knock on the bridge door, and I go, "Captain, hey, I'm Bryan." He goes, "Hey, Bryan, nice to meet you." We start having like a 5-minute conversation, and we look around us, and there's no cameras. And we're like, "Oh, this can't be right." Okay. And then the producers come up again. "Hey, guys, sorry, this is a really important interaction and meeting. We need you to do it again." So here I go, back downstairs, like all the cameras in place. Like, "Okay, Bryan, go. Come in, knock on the door. Hey, Captain, how you doing?" So, a lot of what we see on the show is actually, the second or third. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
But so you get used to it. The mics were really annoying and really itchy, but you get used to it, and when the cameras are on you that something big could happen, or something is going to happen. When the cameras aren't off you, you still have to remember that you're mic'd up, right? And they'll use that audio.
You don't want to say anything like fuck
against you. Well, no, you don't, and you just got to be aware that the audio that they capture you with is even more important than the visual, because they can edit it to like you're having a conversation and have it be completely, out of context of what the audio compared to what you're seeing.
Try to manufacture some drama there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so here we are. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to make sure my deck crew's really good. And my deck crew just wasn't good. Bobby, the big guy who had zero experience, was my best deckhand and the only guy who really, tried and worked hard. The other two, Danny and Jen, were not good. They were awful. They talked back to me all the time. They conspired against me. They were the Muppets for production. Production would, tell them to do one thing, and they would just absolutely do it.
Kind of trying to manufacture some drama there,
absolutely,
maybe make something that's not there.
Absolutely, we would tell Danny not to do something, and the production would go to him and go ahead and do that.
You got the okay from us.
Yeah, and they're the ones who really run the boat. It's like the production company are the charter guests, are the primary charter guests, and then all the guests that come on board and even the crew are to their disposal to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
So it's not like a real reality show. You're really watching quite a produced show, and you can tell when between the interviews and these conversations that people have, you can just tell that production's right behind them, feeding them what to say. And some cast members have zero original thoughts. It's pathetic.
Did that happen to you? Were they trying to have you say anything?
Yeah, they would try to have me say all kinds of stuff. And sometimes I'd go with it, and sometimes I'd say no. That's not how I really feel, and I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, you don't want to get. That'd be shitty if you got portrayed in a different light than how you normally are.
Well, they definitely did do that. I'm not going to lie. They did not portray me as who I really am, and I think they made me look a lot worse, to be honest with you. And I was frustrated with that. And I remember talking to the producers like, hey, what the hell? You guys are burning me alive. Like, this is not how things went down. Things were a lot more positive than you're, showing how it was.
Yeah. Well, but, they got to create ratings and,
Exactly. And they want to make everyone look good and bad.
Yeah.
So they want everyone to be a double-edged sword, to have haters and to have, people that are fans. And unfortunately, because my deck crew were so lame and really just looked really shitty, for them to look kind of good was for them to team up and go against me.
Yeah.
So I had to become some pivot point for these people to make them look, better, essentially. Yeah. And that's how it kind of went down, which is, it is what it is. It was a little frustrating when things started coming out, but you get over it. Yeah. You have haters and you have people that like you. So
overall, a good experience or a bad experience? Would you do it again, kind of thing? Or
yeah, I would do it again. Now what I know now and how much it's produced and putting yourself in the right situations, you think that they would make things look truthful of how things went down, but no, it's really edited. So I would play to that,
Right. Kind of, but you're a little bit more seasoned now. You know what to expect, kind of thing. Yeah, because you see all the cast members that come back, their seasons get better and better because they know what production's looking for. They know what's gonna, how to position themselves to look as best as possible. How to also keep the drama going. Like Ben Robinson, the chef, who's we used to call him the kingpin of Below Deck, because he really is. He's great on TV. He's great. He's got a great accent. He's actually a really smart guy. Ben Robinson, he's like the Below Deck kingpin, and he knows how to play the game really well. Yeah. And he's a friend of mine. So like everyone on that show became a friend of mine besides my two deckhands, Dan and Jenny. Dan and Jenny. Dan and Jen. Right. So you're cool with most of the crew for the most part? Oh yeah, definitely. I'm friends with Hannah. I still talk to Hannah all the time. Bobby's one of my really good friends. Ben, I hang out with Ben every once in a while. He lives in Fort Lauderdale, and so do I. So we get together every once in a while and party. It's it was cool. So I would do it again if I had an opportunity, just because I know how the game works. Right on. Do you think being on the show affected you after the show? Like, is it easier to get work? Is it hard to get work? It's definitely harder. Really? It's definitely harder. Yeah. Some people don't mind it, but a lot of people don't want Below Deck cast members on their yachts because they don't want their yacht coming in, and then everyone's talking not necessarily about the yacht but how there's a crew member from Below Deck on there. Right. You become the focal point as opposed to the yacht. Right. And a lot of people hate on Below Deck, particularly in the industry. A lot of crew think, it's bad for the industry and it's not doing anything good. It's just portraying drama that
Everyone's, alcoholics and
hooking up
and disobeying orders. So, they don't think it's good for the industry. And some people love it. Some crew really want to be on it. A lot of people get into the industry because they've seen the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with a lot of deckhands that are like, oh yeah, I got into it because I saw the show.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure some people don't even realize that that's a potential job. Without that show, who
exactly
who would have necessarily, like, if you grew up in the Midwest or something, you might not even know that yacht crews exist like that.
Exactly. Yeah. No, absolutely. And every time I tell someone about the industry, they go, "Oh, like the show Below Deck." I go, "Uh-huh."
It's a blessing and a curse.
It is exactly. But they're only growing. They're only getting bigger. I think the ratings are really good. To me, I just think it's on the wrong channel, right? It's on Bravo, which is all like, the housewives kind of genre of shows, just extremely dramatic.
Yeah.
Interviews, behind scenes, people talking, shit about each other. It should be on like Nat Geo or
make
something
it more of a travel type show.
Yeah, exactly. Because, we do have a lot of positive interactions with each other. Especially on, my season, we had a lot of laughs and we did a lot of cool things that never made it to the show, that never made it more than just a B-roll at best.
Right.
And that's unfortunate, so it is what it is. Sometimes I think about when I make millions of dollars in the future, I'm going to buy the footage and rights to my show and re-edit it and replay it in the way it should have been.
There you go. That's the goal. So now we need to get you a couple $1 million so you can buy the footage. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if they'd ever release it.
Probably not, because it would make them look bad, the fact that they didn't show that.
Right.
So,
but
is the end goal to stay in TV, or what's the plan now? When you get closer to the end of your yachting career, like what's the main goal?
Well, I'm always I'm starting to really put myself out there for TV and acting, and just any kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
But
you're kind of on the wrong coast for that, though.
That's true. But that's true. But there's plenty going on in Miami and New York.
No,
and LA is, I mean, God, it's almost like too much. There's a lot of people out there really trying to do that. My advantage is that I've already been on it.
Right.
So
do you think it kind of opened some dours for you there in that regard?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've had agents contact me, and I've had I have a couple of friends that are actors out in New York, and we talk about it all the time. I've gotten a lot of professional headshots done and stuff like that, but really that's not my end game. Okay. That's not really what I'm looking for. I kind of throw that out there just as a door of opportunity, but it's not something I'm banking on. What I really want to get into is bringing ideas to life and helping people bring their ideas to life as well, particularly in the yachting industry. Because, as we're sitting there running around all day, scrubbing teak, drying, using chamois, we're thinking about, what else could we be doing with our time and be making money, and how did this guy who owns the yacht make his money? And if this guy can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, I've met that guy. He's an asshole, and he sucks.
Yeah.
Like, how did he make a couple $1 million?
Yeah, exactly. And some of them have a couple $1 billion. Oh my God. Yeah. So, I mean, these are all really rich people, and I can't really say there's a common trait between them besides that they've worked, really hard for the ones that are self-made. Yeah. And then there are the owners that are just kind of silver spoon babies that have had this all their life. And those ones are the worst to work for, to be honest, as you can probably imagine.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Were you able to pick up any cool like insight from some of these yacht owners that are, millionaires, billionaires kind of? Because I mean, you got a lot of time to like kind of pick brains, maybe. No? Yeah,
you do, but it's kind of unprofessional to be talking to them about that unless they're willing to kind of open up and talk to you about it. These guys aren't one to really necessarily talk about their story and their journey. You're better off just YouTubing them or reading about them.
Right on.
Because there is a sense of professionalism when you work on a yacht crew, because we're so, intimate with them day in and day out.
Yeah.
We want to, kind of want to keep it professional.
Yeah, you can't become their best friend kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And if you think that you're becoming their best friend or want to become their best friend, that's an issue, and that's not good. So, for example, on the show, Danny, the kid who was the deckhand on my season, he was trying to be everyone's best friend, all the owners' best friend. So instead of doing the work that he was there to do, he'd be lounging on the couches with them, shooting the shit.
Yeah,
which is totally unacceptable.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, so that's a bad look, and that wouldn't last 1 second on any other yacht. He would have been fired straight away.
Right.
But obviously he was there. He was able to stay there because it was a TV show, and they wanted to see the drama unfold and see me get pissed.
See you beat his ass.
Well, I didn't beat his ass.
No.
I wanted to remain cool. Bobby almost lit him up, and I was afraid Bobby was going to lose his cool and thump him in the ground.
Was that a real interaction? Like he actually physically wanted to fight him and beat him up?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
oh yeah. Danny would taunt Bobby. He'd say things like, "I'm not afraid of you. The bigger they are, the harder they fall."
Oh, shit.
Things like that. And Danny's like 5'6", 130 probably, and Bobby's 6'5", 220. It's
yeah.
Danny. We would pull him aside all the time, which they didn't show, and we'd have really nice, calm conversations. Like, "Hey man, come on, please be cool. Let's not get ourselves in these positions where you're trying to get violent with us.
Yeah.
But to get back to what you were saying about the picking the brains of these owners, you kind of just see the mannerisms they have and what's important to them and how they're living their lives and what time they wake up and things like this.
What kind of takeaways did you get from that?
Well, it's the self-made guys all wake up extremely early.
Yeah,
that's something that they definitely do. And I think just, all their businesses and studying what they've done and reading about them, their persistence and just not taking, no for an answer.
Yeah. They're the alpha dog kind of thing.
Yeah. They just don't give up. One of the guys I worked for, he's known as the Darth Vader of business.
Oh shit.
He'd come in, he was this big dude. He would just get exactly what he wanted. And if he didn't, people are going to get choked out in one way or another. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of intimidating people to get his way.
Exactly. And if he didn't get his way, he'd find a way to get his way. And he was one of the most successful owners that I have ever worked for, and one of the coolest as well.
Really? Okay.
He'd make his own drinks. He didn't want to be served on hand and foot. He just wanted to do his thing and go fishing.
Well, shit. Yeah. I mean, the perseverance thing makes total sense. I mean, I feel like most people could be super successful. They just give up too soon.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
It's like they put in all this work and all this effort, and it doesn't happen. It never happens overnight. Very rarely does it happen overnight. It has to take years. Like we've been running my business for 4 years now. We're still not making money that I would want to have. I'm not to where I want to be. But if I were, let's say I give up right now, if I give up today, but next year could be that breaking point where we start. We sell something or we make a deal that makes, that blows everything wide open. But if I quit now because it's tough times, I'm not going to get to that point where it's like I can actually reap the rewards.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Gary Vee. You know who he is? I'm sure you do.
Gary Vee's the man. I saw him actually. I heard him speak last April up in Portland.
Really?
Yeah. Fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah, really cool. At first, I wasn't sure about him, but now I love him. And he's just, what he says, I think, really hits home. And a lot of the whole perseverance, just stay steady, do what you do, know your strength, and just have permission to do what you want,
Yeah.
and get it.
Yeah.
So I'm really inspired by him. So I love listening to Gary Vee.
No, it's true. It's the consistency over time. Consistency over time will yield you, the success that you want. But
yes,
you got to have the perseverance to actually stick with it.
Absolutely.
So you got any business ideas that you're working on? You're going to start. You got any companies you're working on? You're going to start something?
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, I think so. I'm definitely going to get involved in a couple of different things. I want to start off with, I'm working on this fashion idea, actually. It's a bathing suit for actually older women, believe it or not. Now, this was an idea inspired by my mother.
Okay.
And my girlfriend, who's also in fashion, is working on it, working with us on that too, working on it with us as well. And that's something that's kind of their project that I just want to help them help get off the ground.
Yeah. Trying to dip your toes in as many things as possible.
Yeah, but without being too many and spreading myself too thin.
Right.
That's another thing I've kind of realized is that I have all these ideas and things that I want to get involved in, but when I start thinking about another idea, I kind of lose track of the idea that I was really excited about, 2 or 3 months back.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do now is just really disciplining myself and just trying to focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of ideas for apps that I would really like to bring to the table. I would really like to get, my own podcast going to help people either get out of yachting or get into yachting.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would really enjoy working in yachting, maybe as a career or maybe just for, a couple of months or a couple of years, for your 20s or.
Yeah. Like a life experience kind of thing.
Exactly. Because what other job is going to take you around on a multi-million-dollar boat around the world and pay you good money for it?
Right. No,
it's pretty sweet. I also have a friend who's really involved in investment funds, and I'd really like to help yachties get their money figured out and to save it and to invest it right.
Do you find that to be an issue? Is that a thing where with they spend since you don't really have expenses, it's easy to kind of blow through your money, I would think.
Absolutely, especially when you get to shore and you have all this money, you just put in a summer season, you have tons of expendable cash in hand. Yeah, you're going to live like a king. There's a funny thing, funny little saying they say, how do you tell the difference between the deckhand and the captain? And the answer is the deckhand's wearing the Rolex.
It's burning a hole in your pocket. You've been on the boat all week. Time to go spend it.
Exactly.
Do you find that a lot of people stay in that industry because they kind of blow through their money like that, and it kind of becomes they can't get out of it kind of thing?
Totally.
Yeah.
They can't get out of it, and before they know it, they're too old and don't have any other skills anywhere else and don't have the guts to try to pursue something, on their own. They call it the golden handcuffs.
I like that.
Yeah, golden handcuffs to yachting.
I mean, I could see how that would happen. You kind of build up some friendships, but like you were saying earlier, you can't really build up a family necessarily.
Yeah, no, it's just hard. I mean, you can get lucky and maybe find a local job that you're looking after a boat that's right down the street from your house, and you only have to be gone, a couple months out of the year. That happens, but it's pretty rare, and it's tough. It's a hard industry, especially to grow into. But if you make it to, you get your big licenses, and if you're on a 200-foot boat, you're probably making over $200,000 a year as a captain.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
I mean, yeah, that's what they say. They say $1,000 a foot for the captain's salary annually, and that goes the same for the amount it costs for a week of charter.
Whew.
Yeah.
Count me out.
Yeah, they're crazy expensive to rent, and they're really expensive to keep up.
Yeah, that's why you gotta have $1 billion.
Yeah. Well, have you ever heard of the BOAT acronym?
What's that?
The BOAT acronym is break out another 1,000, and yachts it's break out another 10,000.
Fuck.
Because it's just one thing after another.
It's just a money pit.
Yep, it really is. So you got to really love the smell of the ocean and diesel fuel if you really want to own a yacht.
We'll see if next year we break break through, and maybe I can buy a yacht one of these days.
Well, if I would say just rent one.
Just rent one. That's
just
the
rent
advice.
one, have fun, and then the next year you keep doing well, rent a bigger one.
Sounds good.
That's the move.
I'll
the move.
Just rent. Don't buy.
Rent. Don't buy. Don't buy.
Right on.
Yeah,
dude.
man.
This is awesome, dude. That was super insightful. What advice would you give to somebody like trying to get into yachting? Like somebody listens to this, they're like, "Oh shit, that sounds amazing," and they want to get into it.
Yeah. Well, I would highly recommend it. It's a great time. I would recommend, doing a little bit more research. Look into the STCW course. It costs around $1,000 and takes a week long to do. Look up Triton.com. That's always an insightful website. Look at Day Work 123 and see what kind of jobs they are, what they're offering to pay, and what kind of what people are looking for. And also you can look at the CVs on that website as well and see what resumes look like. And just know that if you want an adventure in your life and you want to go out and explore and meet people from all different walks of life and international, people, it's a great industry to get involved in. And I don't regret 1 second of it. And I hope other people can follow my footsteps and have as much fun and experiences that I've had.
Yeah, man. It sounds awesome. I'm trying to go to Majorca now.
Yeah.
You sold me.
Majorca is awesome. It's awesome.
Sold me.
It's awesome.
Right on, dude. Well, I appreciate having you on, man.
Thanks for having me, dude. Anytime. And
this was fun.
Hopefully, yeah, definitely. It's good to catch up with you, man. I'm really proud of you, dude. It looks like you're absolutely killing it. You're a freaking beast. Every time I see your Instagram post, I'm like, holy shit, I gotta get in the gym. What am I doing?
That's something we didn't touch on. How do you stay in shape on the boat?
So it's difficult because we don't have big heavy weights to push, right? So what I've really found that works best for me is doing full body, high intensity workouts.
Yeah.
So I'll do this thing called the Spartan workout where it's 10 different exercises, and you do each exercise as many reps as you can in 1 minute, and you rest for 15 to 30 seconds.
Okay.
So by the end of it, you're just totally just dripping in sweat. Your whole body is just shaking. And I do three rounds of that.
Okay.
It can be a little difficult, because when the boat's swaying, but man, it's my favorite thing to do. And of course, a lot of people get off the boat if you're on shore, go for a run or go play basketball. But when you're out at sea, that's what I find the best. And all you need is like a 25-pound dumbbell or kettlebell. Someone like you probably would need 75-pound, but
get out of here, bro.
but it's really great. Yeah, it's called the Spartan workout. I think I found it on like a Men's Health magazine. That's been my go-to. And when we cross the Atlantic, it takes 17 days. So we're only going about 9 miles per hour.
Holy shit!
So yeah,
you got a lot of time on your hands.
A lot of time to kill. So every day we would hit the Spartan workout, and by the time we got to shore, we were just absolutely ripped.
You're just shredded.
Shredded and tons of energy. Yeah,
that's legit. Well,
so that's what we do.
Well, you got to do what you can. Sometimes you got limited resources, and you gotta figure a way.
Definitely, that's it, man. That's life.
I appreciate it, Bryan. Man. Do you want to drop your Instagram or anything so people can follow you?
Yeah, I'm at Bryan Kattenburg. Straight up, Bryan with a Y, Kattenburg with a K, and a URG, BURG, and yeah.
Right on, dude.
That's it, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and let's keep in touch.
Yeah, brother.
Maybe I'll make it up to Oregon, and you can.
You got to do a workout. You got to come out one of these times.
I'd love to. All
right, brother. I will talk to you later.
All right.
Man.
All right. Cheers, Mooney. Take care, buddy.
Later. So that's a wrap, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That was Bryan Kattenburg at BryanKattenburg at Bryan Kattenburg on Instagram. I'm gonna throw it in the show notes as well, so you guys can check him out. He's a cool dude. Takes some cool pictures. Traveling around a lot. Gave me a little bit of wanderlust there. I want to get out there, get traveling a little bit as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I thought there were some cool spots in there. A lot of things that I didn't know about. So hopefully you guys learned something. If you made it this far, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Check out gunsmithbrand.com. We got a bunch of cool stuff dropping on the site pretty much regularly now. Every couple of weeks we're dropping some cool stuff, and we got some cool stuff coming. A lot of new women's gear coming down the pipe. Appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure you guys leave that review, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.